Mr. Poe, Edgar Allan, is deeply suspicious of Miss Odom's intentions, with that guarded look on her face and the occasional gleam in her eye that's quickly replaced by a return to dull disinterest, as if the dead fly on the windowsill has really captured most of her attention. Miss Christie, Agatha, is questioning neighbors to find out whether they've seen anything suspicious happening around the Ballard house in the past few weeks or so. Included in the questioning is the kindly older lady who lives across the street from the Ballard family and who has seen many comings and goings at the Ballard households. Morning rushes to get into their two vehicles and drive to daycare and office jobs, evening arrivals and rushing to get inside and start dinner preparation, Saturday departures to soccer games and gymnastics classes, and Sunday playing at home. Laughter coming from the backyard, kids riding a tricycle and bicycle with training wheels on the sidewalk out front. Sir Doyle, Arthur Conan, is searching high and low for clues, trying to spot something that doesn't quite fit in the Ballard suburban house, occupied by two busy parents and two children, which results in a certain amount of clutter around the house. He wonders if the claimed crime of burglary has not been committed, but instead the missing blue diamond necklace has simply been misplaced. It could have been put down and then covered up by the flotsam and jetsam of a hectic life. When faced with that raised possibility, Mrs. Ballard has replied, "No, no, my living room and kitchen may be strewn with toys, but I always put my jewelry in the same place, and my kids are too short to reach my jewelry box if they had a wish to play dress up." Mr. Poe, Edgar Allan, has noticed that Miss Odom's answers at the beginning of his interrogation were short and to the point. But as the questioning commenced past a half hour, her answers are growing, expanding, as if she is weaving a web that entangles the threads of truth and lies. He steels himself behind the curls of steam rising from his mug of chai, noting that Miss Odom is on her second cup of coffee, with generous spoonfuls of sugar, and he attempts to commit her answers to memory so as to capture any inconsistencies that may escape her lips. He doesn't write notes. As Mr. Poe once told a man over lunch of crab cakes at a tavern overlooking the Baltimore harbor while relaying his investigative adventures, "Writing notes during an interrogation is the sign of a weak mind." Miss Christie, Agatha, sits across the kitchen table from the kindly older lady who lives across the street from the Ballards. Both of them wrap their fingers around warm cups of Earl Grey tea. The kindly older lady says that, while weeding her garden, she has seen an old chocolate-brown four-door sedan pull up often to the Ballard house. A young woman would exit the car and approach the house. Mrs. Ballard would open the front door with an enthusiastic look and proclaim, "Come in, come in." Now that the kindly older lady thinks about it, an odd thing happened. She saw that very same brown sedan a few weeks ago, or so, pull up one night while the Ballards' silver minivan was gone, and their house was dark, save for a light in their living room. The woman exited the brown sedan and walked through the side gate to the backyard. Soon, more lights were switched on in the Ballard house, including the second floor, where the bedrooms are located. But the kindly older lady didn't think much of it, since the woman in the brown sedan was so enthusiastically received before. Therefore, she must be a good friend of the Ballards. So this woman was probably stopping by to check on the house while the family was gone away for the evening. Sir Doyle, Arthur Conan, finds no sign of forced entry at the Ballard house. No broken windows or locks. If a burglar stole the blue diamond necklace, then why didn't they take the other jewelry, or the flat screen TV, or the iPad on the kitchen counter that was next to a stack of letters? Perhaps the burglar picked the lock, but the question still arises why a skilled lockpicker would take the time to pick the lock of this particular house among all the houses on this suburban street and then steal only a blue diamond necklace. Sir Doyle notices something askew about a flower pot containing a light purple chrysanthemum that sits on the patio's 2-foot-high brick wall. One side of the flower pot is slightly raised. Checking the cause of this one side higher oddity, Sir Doyle discovers a key under the flower pot. The detective puts the key on the palm of his white-gloved hand. The key feels electrically important to the case. Sir Doyle loves this part of investigations, and he is a kind of junkie for that sensation. The key slips easily into the deadbolt lock on the back door and turns easily to the left, thus enabling the detective to turn the doorknob, coated in fingerprinting dust, and open the door. Mr. Poe, Edgar Allan, listens as Miss Odom keeps going on, fueled by caffeine and adrenaline and sugar, in her energetic explanations of how she'd never do such a thing to her friend. After all, a friend is not a friend if they steal jewelry from their supposed friends. But Mr. Poe has grown weary of Miss Odom's repetition, passionate though it is, and not riddled with the inconsistencies he had hoped for. And so he is thankful for the arrival of choral music. Mozart's Requiem softly rises from his smartphone that was previously sleeping on the table, separating Mr. Poe from Miss Odom, as if they were playing a card game. Mr. Poe holds the phone up to his head and murmurs, "Yes?" Then, "Still here?" Then, "I see." And another, "I see." Then finally, "Well done." The phone conversation over, Mr. Poe returns the phone to the table. Mr. Poe's deadpan expression does not change as he says, "Your fingerprints were found on the knob of the Ballard's back door." Miss Odom protests, "Of course! I've been there tons of times, so my fingerprints are all over the place." Mr. Poe nods, saying, "Naturally, they would be. But why would your fingerprints be on the spare key that's hidden under a flower pot in the backyard patio?" Miss Odom is momentarily struck. Then she shifts to anger, saying, "I've watched their house while they were away. When they were visiting their parents for a week, I've watched the house. So sure, I touched the key. That's how I got in." Mr. Poe leans forward, his voice lowering. "Were you watching the house a few weeks ago when the neighbor across the street saw your chocolate brown Toyota sedan pull up to the house and saw you slip into the backyard? The Ballards were away just for the evening. They went to a restaurant for dinner, then they went to a cinema to see a motion picture, an animated one with talking animals." Again, Miss Odom is struck by information unleashed at her. This time, rather than continue with deep frowning anger, Miss Odom's expression shifts to a smirk. Bitterness spikes her voice as she says, "Look, Jessica Ballard doesn't live in a dream world, but she's got it much better than me. Great husband, wonderful kids, lovely house. The necklace she got for her anniversary was too much. I mean, how can Greg afford a necklace like that? A blue diamond? It's not right. Not right at all. And when my boyfriend Francisco asked me to the opera, I thought of the necklace. I'd never been to the opera before, so I wanted to make the right impression. And I've got to say, that necklace looks damn good with my dress. So I decided to keep the necklace.